Hello and welcome to Scott Schilling Speaks. It is Tech Tuesday, so my guest, tech expert, Supreme, Lorenzo Hickey. Lorenzo, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Scotty. Yes, you forgot the all-important recovering accountant. I started out
and recovering accountant, absolutely, which is why it drove him into tech.
Exactly. Something had to
how the link works there, but
yeah. Well, let's just put it this way. I like change, and there's not a lot of change in accounting. There's a lot of repetitive process. So
a lot of the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, we have committed to talk tech every Tuesday and to enlighten folks on various pieces of tech that are coming to the market or in the market so that they can accomplish their dreams, wants, and desires easier, faster, better, with less effort. And so what are we talking about today, Lorenzo?
Well, today we're talking about a product that launched at the end of last year. It's actually a 4-year-old product, but the product is called AIMI. And AIMI is an acronym that stands for Artificial Intelligence Marketing Information, AIMI. And AIMI has a female orientation to her, so we often talk about AIMI. But like the Be Connected world, AIMI is based on artificial intelligence. And so there's a really cool connect the dots here. And so what's been happening with AIMI is she was developed 4 years ago with the idea that she would post social media activity in platforms, specifically Facebook and eventually LinkedIn and now Twitter. But what happened is that the vast majority of people in social media has grown tremendously. Like, Scott, you and I talk about our world in the Be Connected space where, 760 million people are part of LinkedIn, right? So in looking for connections, in the world of social media and Facebook, I don't even know what the number is. I've lost track of the number, but the number that's important to me inside of Facebook is there are 6 million searches a day.
Yeah, that's a crazy number. I think that the total number of visitors is 2.7 billion these days, monthly visits.
Yeah, so I know that in order for you and our clients to be found, you have to be available, right? And so to be available, so certainly from the perspective of being social, you have to be able to be found and searched. So we also know that video is a massive form of being searched and searchable. The second largest search engine in the world is YouTube.
Right.
Right. So if you start thinking about these different pieces, what we as a company and we as a sort of a subject matter experts in technology are always looking for these trends and looking for these different ways to bring the stuff to life. So we do it in the context of building people's businesses, right, Scott? So one of the reasons we love, Be Connected is it creates great connections with people. Right? And that's the starting point of having dialogue, and having dialogue lets you talk about possibilities. And in our ethos that you and I have created in our world is about how do we serve first, and then how do we partner. And so we're now talking about serving in partnership. Well, in order to do that, one of the factors in our entire lives, and one of the reasons computers were built, back to tech, right? The roots of my tech is to create automations or efficiencies to things that basically should be automated, right? Like, you can't, yeah, exactly.
One of those time and energy and potentially money savings for sure.
Right. So one of the things about automation, kind of flip this around, is one of the things we've seen over time is you can't really automate phone calls, right? That relationship business, which is what you and I are in, the relationship business, you don't just automate a phone call and say, hey, here's my call. Hey, I'm building a call, I'm building a relationship. Call me sometime. I miss you, right? Like that's not going to go over well, right,
yeah,
Scott?
It doesn't work so well.
It doesn't serve your soul or your heart, or more importantly, in their ego, if they have one on the other end of the call, right? So tie this back to, automation and efficiencies is one of the things that the biggest time suck, if you will, if I can use that word here, is the ability to create a post, the ability to create an idea of a post, the ability to create the post, the ability to put the graphics in the post, and all of that is time consuming, especially if it's not your personal skill set, right?
And the reality is most entrepreneurs are living in their gifting,
Mhm.
or should be living in their gifting. And in fact, now they're being called to do other parts of the business, which
Right.
is by definition what made you the entrepreneur in the first place.
Exactly. So the solopreneur is really something we're trying to put behind us, right? So it's solopreneur. There's two different ways to create resources and bring things together. One of us use technology, which is kind of our jam daily, but we also do other things. But the other side of that is to hire out resources and hire personnel. So one of the things about having a personal connection with somebody is you can ask them, hey, could you help me? Do you have resources? Do you want to, help me build my relationship? That's our Elevate JV Global business that we're in together. But the other side of that is I can do things automated and give myself some time back so that I can do the things I love. So I can be in service. So I can be really focused on my skill set, my gift, right? Your gifting. And one of the taglines we use in our world and with our clients is we tell them, you do what you do best and we'll do the rest.
Yep.
And the idea behind that is really we're sort of a business general contractor. And in most sense, we've got three areas of your business. And this is a little bit of a kind of connected dots on how we work is we look at your business strategy, like what's your strategic direction, and how you're going to work and how you're going to build, what your resources look like, what's your business maturation. And then we take a step and look at your productization, right? Your products and services and offerings, and how are they being developed? How are they being priced? How do they make sense? And can you sell them? And do you have a proof of concept? Have you created the ultimate feedback? The feedback, money is feedback, right? So if you got
Right.
if you're making money, you got feedback. If you're not, then you have to look at your product mix, and your product scenarios. So we look at business strategy, productization, product development, but we also look at the tech. And so that's how, one of the three legs of our stool in business. And so, kind of circling back, all of this is tech should be a time saver. The reason
Yes.
the PCs were generated were time savers. So Amy specifically, and I'm going to actually show a couple of screens in just a minute because it's just fun to do. It's always way better to be visual. But I want to leave with this, Scott. If you had more time, if your audience and your listeners had more time, what would you do with it? How would you leverage it? Isn't time your personal most valuable currency today?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. People sit there and say, what's really important to them. And if you could take the time and then reallocate it in better ways, than beating your head against the wall, that something would help the creativity come out. Heck yeah, all for it.
Mhm. Yeah. So one of the things I did, and this is kind of the genesis of the other activity we have, but one of the genesis, I had this idea around time. It's save time, make time, and give time back. Right. So
Yep.
give time back to your friends, your family, the things that you love doing. So really that's what Tech Tuesdays are all about is, how do we manage that process of saving time and doing things? And this is the other major element here, doing things and sharing information with people so that you're not taking the time, once again, our time factor here,
Yep.
taking the time to figure it out and research, right? It's something I love, right? So the fact that I love being a part of, tech and being tech opportunities, and it's something that you and I are very blessed with people in our communities, right? Would you say it's the mature side of us?
Yeah. Well, when you get more mature,
When you were more mature, we know a lot of people, right?
That's exactly it.
And a lot of people will throw things to us, at us, and around us to say, hey, how does this work? So long-winded to say, I'm just trying to give the background as why when we mention something and share something on Tech Talk Tuesdays, this has really been vetted on our own world, right? Just like in Be Connected, we have a 5-star rating. We have a vetting service and process that we go through.
Exactly.
We also do it in an agnostic way, right? So what we recommend and what we're sharing is something that we, with transparency, we obviously have business relationships with certain companies and certain relationships that are beneficial to us financially, but really what we're sharing is opportunity for success. And so I just really want to lay that groundwork because I know we've had one show previous to this and this one. So for those who are watching maybe our second in a series, you're really understanding Tech Talk Tuesdays is our way of serving and loving on our community inside of Be Connected.
It really, for me as a professional speaker, trainer, coach, having the opportunity, in periods of my career to be on the road literally for 6 years straight. It seemed like leave on Sunday, come back on Friday, and talk 8 to 10 times a week to audiences. great opportunity to do those things. But then once you stop doing that, you say, I did what? And you start to think that through and say, well, is there a way that we could have communicated that message any differently? Well, in that period of time, that is what you did. Now we have what we're doing here with Tech Talk Tuesday TV show and podcast, and to be able to deliver these messages. But way back then, personally, I started really wondering where there was a vetted, trusted resource network. Where was there something that I don't have to be the expert of everything. I need to know enough about that thing to be able to audit what the expert is telling me about it. Just I wanted to throw in an accounting term just to make you feel at home.
I do. Feels good.
But the fact is, I need to know enough about it to audit it, but that's not where my gifting is. And I think that if anything in this pandemic, what's really happened is people have come to realize that living in their gifting, living in their genius, and not only can they do that better today than ever before, there are tools and automations and different things that can help in that. And so why spend the time if in fact there's an amazing piece of technology that has the ability to promote your business, promote your opportunities, promote your TV show, your podcast, whatever that might be, and do it in a time-saving, expense-saving. But the other side of that is there's nothing that personally I've ever represented. And I've represented a lot of products, whether it be in infomercials or out live from stage or in coaching somebody or doing a TV show like this, that we don't use ourselves. I mean, if I don't use it, I don't present it to other people for use. It just doesn't make sense. And so that's where the vetted, trusted resource network really comes in, Elevate JV Global, and what we're doing, and giving people the time savings, the energy savings. They don't have to get the years of experience that you've had studying tech to all of a sudden study a piece of tech. You're already there. You've already done that, right? So again, much easier to look towards Elevate JV Global and as that trusted, vetted resource network, and then utilize the tools that we're using. And if it works for you, God bless you, go like crazy. And if you don't see it, very cool. There's probably another piece of tech that might be right for you. Does that make a whole lot of sense in what we're doing here?
Yeah, I do. And the other way to look at this, one of the things that you and I do with our experiences, the other side of it is whether you're teaching or training or sharing tech, is teach what you know. Yeah. Right. So one of the things that has been great about you and the books in your life and your history is that you've learned to understand and manage adversity and come through that with a different point of clarity. And so now you can coach and teach and do all those things. So it's really pretty cool that way. So let's get to the problem at hand and let's talk a little bit about that, and kind of we'll do our teaser into Amy, because that was why we started this. Sure. But I also want to put context around what's the business problem. Right. So the business problem is actually, number one, is being seen and available. Right. So you've got to be seen. If you're going to be found in search engines, and whether it's you're using a Google search engine or YouTube or anything else, you need to be social. And it's no longer like websites. It's no longer, can I have one? Should I have one? You got to have one, right? You got to have some sort of digital.
It's a must-have.
It's a must-have. And so now socially, you must have a social presence. Right. And again, to just revisit what we alluded to for those who are just joining us, the fact that there are 600 million searches a day on Facebook. So now people in Facebook are now searching for companies just like they're searching on Google. Right. And so you have to be found socially, but not just Facebook, but LinkedIn and inside of Twitter. Right. And also what's coming, so a little teaser, what's coming is LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, and Instagram. So now if you could have time savings in all these different categories, you have 6 different platforms. Imagine one post crossing 6 different platforms. That's a 6x improvement right there.
That's sweet.
That's 6x. We're just getting started. But imagine you have a post a day times 30 days times 6. 6 times 30 is 180. So inside of a couple of days or 30 days in a month, you get 180 posts. do that across multiple types of posts. I'm posting about my show. I'm posting about my podcast. I'm posting about my book. I'm posting about my business. I'm posting about a product launch. I'm posting about an event. Those are all things that are necessary to share that are unique and different. What about if I'm posting about did you know, or tips and tricks and engagement, right? So here's the business problem is number one, you got to get out there and be available. Number two is it takes a lot of time to do all that. So we've already had that, we've kind of, beat that one up. But the fact of the matter is, if I took that same time, 50% of the social media equation is getting yourself out there and making yourself available through posting.
Right. Exactly.
The other half of the equation is engagement. Right. So engagement for the longest time was not well understood, and people thought it was just likes. Yeah, I got a lot of likes, right? Or I've got a lot of people in my, to join my business page, and so they're now part of my community. Those are all great, but what you don't know, and what constantly is changing, not for the good necessarily,
Exactly.
is the algorithms that are used to create social activities so that you show up on these feeds, right? Facebook feeds and information feeds. So how many that are listening go to Facebook and you go in and you look at, you see a certain amount of your news feed, your news information, right? All of that is tied. The business problem is tied to engagement. It's no longer tied to how many friends you have. It's no longer tied to how many likes you have. It's tied to engagement, and the engagement is actually back. This is so funny. It goes back to my mainframe days. It's synchronous and asynchronous communication. It's like, what the hell does that mean? Right? It means that there's a connection and a response. That's synchronous. There's and the asynchronous is just the connection is a push, and there's nothing that comes back. Right. So the engagement is the full circle. It's the synchronous. Well, I sent something to Scott, and Scott, you sent it back. You liked it back, right? I sent you a link, you sent it back, and you liked it. So inside of all of the social platforms, they're getting really wise to the people that were just posting, right? And they're also getting really wise to saying the same post, the same thing. You're my product, my product, my product. So what Amy does, it takes that entire business problem and accounts for through AI when the post should hit in a day, a week, or a month. So if you're doing a did you know post, Amy will do a did you know post maybe every other day or every third day. Because if you had a did you know post every day, people are like everything else, you start to ignore it, right?
Gets old.
Have you imagined your life? Have you driven down a street? You're in your street. This is a weird analogy, but let's think about it. You drive down your street every day, and what do you not notice? You not notice everything you noticed the first time you drove down that street. The trees, the cars, the neighbors, the kids, all the stuff that the kid runs
just
out in front of you.
background noise.
It's background noise, right? That's what social media is. So you have to have a tool that creates this opportunity, that creates net new information. So including a did you know post with a post that is conversation starter, like, hey, check in with me. Or I'm doing a webinar on the 5th of the month, or I've got a new book launch, or my friend's got a book launch. So all of that is creating different kinds of posting activities and creating the opportunity for engagement. Where I started with this was 50% of it is getting all these different posts out there in the right time, in the right place. The other part is creating engagement. So the goal of this is to give you time back so you can do that. So one of the things that we do with Amy is we talk about getting all the posting, getting it all done. And then we do advanced training on how do you create the right engagement? What are the right tools and techniques? So that's a future show. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to do a little show and tell, Scott, because we're getting short on time and long on talk, apparently. So
that is a shocker right there.
So Amy is built and developed by a company called Pre-Built Marketing. Good friends of mine, Zach and Pete, and so we've been working with them for again almost 3 years now. And Scott and I are representing this product in a couple different ways. Just for the spoiler alert, Scott likes to say you will see Amy as an Amy group inside of Be Connected, because we'll have an Amy group that specifically talked about social media and creating engagement there, right? Why? Because creating engagement is part of the journey, right?
That's right.
Groups are part of the process. So Amy is basically an artificial smartphone app and a desktop app. That's what's getting announced. Why are we excited? Because starting in the next couple of days, we're going to have the initial launch of the desktop version. So this same product, which you're going to see some really cool pictures, never seen before. You're going to see today here on the Scott Schilling Speaks show. So super cool. But here's the company's been around since 2018. So this is not like a fly by night kind of company. Right. They've already built over 500,000 posts. And I have somewhere in my content, so I'm not going to do the whole show PowerPoint here today. But what they've also done is in the last few months with the launch of this new product, they've done over 100,000 posts on the mobile app. So here's what's interesting. And so Amy is basically a 3 or 4 step process. It's all wizard based, but you have both a desktop version. So I'm showing you again for the very first time, the mobile version. So you can see the same thing in mobile as you see in your desktop. And so you have the ability to create a business profile setting. Why is that important? Because you can have a few of them. I can have a few different businesses. So this is a multifaceted, just dropping some hints here, folks. You know, as you start looking at this, I can do lots of industries. I can do lots of businesses. Yeah, yep. One place. And that's where this thing gets exponential. But the whole concept is it's based on an industry set or solution set, because at the end of the day, you're trying to post with people that are like or similar, right? So we pick industries, and then you let Amy decide the calendar schedule, right? So the ability to have calendar or scheduling is the ability to say, I want to post this stuff every day. I want to post this stuff once a week. I want to post this stuff, 7 days right before I launch my book launch. I want to post it, whatever. So the idea behind scheduling and having a calendar is you're telling the system when the available post should be posted, and the artificial intelligence will do the posting for you. Right? So it gets really cool. So this image is, again, the desktop version versus mobile. But what you can see on the top banners, you can see the calendar pages, and you can see how many posts per page. This gets really exponential when you start building a lot of campaigns, which is the next piece. So step two.
And that's the reality. It gives you the flexibility to also be responsive to changes in the marketplace, little blips, little trendings, all those different kinds of things, all can be adjusted for.
Yeah, exactly.
Really on the fly. Pretty amazing.
Well, the one thing that I really want to tell you to take away, we're just showing some basic slides and some basic features here, but Amy will build your calendar every month. So once you set it up and say, yep, for this business, for this calendar, this is what I need for this book launch or this webinar, if it's a weekly seminar, webinar every week, or weekly show, weekly podcast, it will rebuild that calendar every month. And all you do is review it. And how you review it is look at the page on the right-hand side of the screen. You can see all of the posts, and you can click on it, and you can look at it, edit it, change it. It is the most brilliant tool I've ever seen.
And for you listening as a podcast right now, just imagine that in your own mind. No, it's awesome.
Exactly. Guess what? We'll be launching in the next, couple of days to a couple of weeks, the entire ethos using Amy to talk about Scott Schilling Speaks. To use Amy to talk about all of our other products and lines of business. So super, super cool to get all that posting. So the other thing that's really neat about this is you can run all your business on your phone or not on your phone, combination of desktop. What I love about where we're going, right? This is I'm in partnership with this. So we do Amy Education. So we do all the education and training around Amy. What I love where we're going is imagine building all this stuff out, really cool, really great on your desktop, and then looking at your phone and swiping, go, yeah, that's good. That's good. Because you get exact visual of what it looks like on your phone. So you're getting the best of all worlds, build and design, and then mobile activity. But you can swap out techniques and capabilities and vision and graphics and images. You have things like advanced features and basic features. It is so cool, Scott. And just to kind of work through, and then you can add your own calendars and posts and automatically go into these different social platforms. So all we're really saying to you, to the team, to people, Amy's coming. Amy's out and available now, but Amy's coming again. And the real idea behind Amy is it's 4 or 5 steps to get your business going. And it's rinse and repeat every month. Your calendars get built every month. You have the opportunity to be creative. Hold your thoughts for a second and just say this. Going in the next few weeks, you'll have Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, Instagram. Then you have the ability to upload all of your own pictures and images. So for those of us that have great relationships in the network marketing space, or they'll be able to take their entire images, entire library, upload those, and Amy will use those images as tagged images and post them into their posts. So we'll be doing something like this using Amy for Be Connected. We'll be using Amy for Scott Schilling Speaks. So you'll get to see all of this. We've actually been doing this for months, and we're happy to share this with. So if for those of you who will get connected with us, you're going to get connected with us in the Amy group inside of Be Connected. You're going to get connected with us in your Scott Schilling Speaks show. Reach out to us, reach out to me. And the goal is we're going to start doing, we have educational trainings, training Tuesdays. Actually, I haven't called it Training Tuesday, but now I'm going to call it Training Tuesdays.
You're stealing Tuesday back from tech.
Well, no, but I've been using Tuesdays for the last 4 months. So every day at 4 o'clock Pacific, we do a training. And so we'll share that. So it's an Amy training. So we'll put all this information in the group. We'll put all this information, make it available. The message I just want to leave with people is they see this and they look at the tech opportunity. It is a massive time saver. It's massively fun. And we now have it as a tool set that's really available to the way that you like to work, mobile or desktop. And that's been a game changer, Scott, and the ability to add your own content, your own forms, your own pictures. It's your own videos. And oh, by the way, for those who are really tech savvy, you can audio voice your posts. So you can do, hey, take a picture of a cup of coffee and say, I'm going to do a post, boom, and automatically do a post right then and there. It's just so much fun.
Well, the things that are so exciting about even what we're doing here with the TV show with Scott Schilling Speaks, and then converting it to podcasts, and it's being handled or being distributed throughout multiple networks now, and will continue to. We're about to go OTT, over the top television with it, which is all internet, Roku, those kinds of distribution points. The reality is being able to up level your business or up level your promotion of your business. Exactly. And really share. We were having this conversation earlier. Used to do the studio. I mean, I've done multiple TV shows in studios, and $750, $800, $1,000 a show is, a pretty serious capital commitment. All of a sudden you have tools available to you that are a cost per month kind of item, and that you can sequence in. And that's why, again, we wanted to create this trusted, vetted resource network, Elevate JV Global, where these things are here. If you like them or love them, use them, utilize them. We are. And if they just don't seem to fit right now, that's fine. Come to the trainings and come to the shows. Understand that we're doing this to help you reach your highest potentials. That's the exciting part. Stay in your gifting. Do what you do really well. Let, whether it be other individuals or technology, take over the things that you don't do well, don't like doing, or are just a pain in the butt. And for some of us more mature folks, code word for older, some of the stuff that was invented way after we were in our prime with wondering about it. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. And certainly we've got other industries that we're going to take it into and help folks with. So we thank you for coming to the shows. Lorenzo, leave us with one last little tech bit on what's going on. Give us a little view into Tech Talk Tuesdays as we continue going on with this.
Yeah, so Scott, there's so many things that we want to provide, but one of the things that we're seeing is the new generation of all-in-one. And the new generation of all-in-one is the ability to market, the ability to create your list, the ability to go mobile, the ability to have e-commerce and to have an e-commerce storefront, right? So there are first iterations of those, and those have happened over the last 4 to 5 years, and there's more coming. But now the all-in-one, the consolidated view, the one-stop shop where you get all the things that you need to go, that's the area that we're looking at very specifically. We're looking at a digital business card information so that you can get your information out on a mobile website, if you will. Those are all things that are coming in terms of our conversation. And we're also going to come back to the basics, which is how do you use your phone? How do you take advantage of the stuff you have?
A phone,
right? So
I was training on that the other day, and I said this. I picked it up and I showed everybody, and I said, "This is a phone. You actually use it to dial people and talk to them. It's a novel concept." So it doesn't have to have a long curly cord attached to it to be able to do it. So
awesome, Scott.
Thanks for some great information today. We are going to continue on Tech Talk Tuesdays here on Scott Schilling Speaks. And if you have suggested guests for the show and topics that you'd like to hear about, please send them in, scott@scottschilling.com. Love to hear about them. We'll continue to do the show and bring you great content and great guests. Thank you for joining us here today, and join us tomorrow. I mean, there's going to be a woman that grew up in Eastern Europe, came to the United States at the age of 8, knowing no English. How'd you like that? Wow. And now is just an awesome, awesome individual. So you see her tomorrow. Thank you for joining us 5 days a week here on Scott Schilling Speaks. Have a great day. God bless.
Bye for now.